Mornings are the best time to water, which is when I try to complete my 10-minute little list of jobs in the garden, often with a freshly brewed coffee close to hand. So here's my checklist of daily gardening jobs that typically take me 10 minutes or less to complete. Shall we? Even meticulously tended gardens get weeds. If they're not popping up from what's already in the soil, they're just blowing in on the wind. But keeping on top of them is as simple as scanning the garden beds at least once a day and just winkling out any that you find. Pull out the most obvious weeds, and if the area is a bit overweedy, we'll break it down into more manageable sections and just go at one little bit each day. Honestly, I spend no more than, say, 1 to 2 minutes a day just going through and pulling out the most obvious weeds, and that's pretty much enough to keep everything nice and clean. While I'm weeding, I'm also playing Dr. Ben. Now, I'm on the lookout here for any signs of pests or diseases, such as discoloured or, in this case, slightly holy leaves, or indeed seeing the culprits themselves, and then thinking, how can I cure this problem? Now, in this instance, I've got lots of black bean aphids, which happens every year, but I've seen here there's a ladybug or ladybird that's snaffling away at them, so I'll probably just leave this as it is. Most pests, though, can just be kind of either pinched off or squeezed between your finger and thumb, or in the case of aphids, blasted off with a nice strong jet of water and left to drop down to the ground and die. Slugs are something else to watch out for, of course, and it's worth regularly picking those off. And if you'd like more on controlling slugs, I'll link to a video on that in the description below. In fact, most of the jobs on my daily jaunt are done at the same time. That includes a spot of light pruning, for example, to remove any yellowing or dead leaves from crops to keep things tidy, or for example, the runners from strawberries to make sure they're as productive as possible. This is also the moment to do a spot of deadheading, like here with my calendula, removing the old spent flowers to encourage new replacement flowers to keep the show going on for longer. As this season progresses, growth really picks up, and it's worth checking that climbing or tall plants like beans and tomatoes have all the support they need. Now, for tomatoes, I use natural jute twine. It means that at the end of the season, I can just lift everything up, remove the supports, and just dump it all onto the compost heap and move on. In here is one of my favourite jobs, just twirling the cucumbers and tomatoes around their string supports like this. Secure a couple of plants a day with either ties or a few twists like this, and you'll never feel like you're rushing around after them. So with weeds plucked, pests seen to, plants supported, and everything primed and proper, it's time to get on and water. If you're unsure whether things need watering, well, just get a finger about 1 inch into the soil and give it all a feel. If it's dry, well, then obviously that's your cue to get on and water. If it isn't, well, you've saved yourself a job. Watering can't be rushed if you're going to do it properly. It's important to get enough water on there so it really penetrates down into the soil. So if you are in a hurry in the morning, just prioritise your watering, say for salads and container plants, then move on and come back to the rest later on. It's a 10-minute job list, but there's always 10 seconds to make a fuss of Rosie here. Harvesting any ripe or ready produce is the last thing on my list. By delaying this till last, I'm going to keep produce as fresh as possible, and so things like leaves don't wilt in the heat. Now, as well as a salad and perhaps some beautiful spinach leaves for lunchtime, say, I'm also on the lookout for beans and tomatoes lurking in the foliage, or, as here, an absolute beauty that's hidden away here, some lovely fresh zucchini or courgette, a real treat early in the summer. Now, by harvesting every day, as things are ready, I'm going to make sure that things are the perfect size to maximise both taste and texture. Banana, anyone? In peak season, it's quite an achievement to get all of these jobs done in under 10 minutes. There's always something to distract the gardener. However, if I do have a minute to spare, I will spend it just having a think about the list of jobs to do tomorrow. All of the above for sure, but perhaps there are other jobs like, say, topping up the mulch or sowing some sort of follow-on crop, for example. I'll either make a mental note or, more often than not, because I am prone to forgetfulness, just make a note on my phone and set an alarm. And that's it for another day. Time to get on with the more boring jobs indoors. Now, if you're seeking ideas for your own gardening or more inspiration for what to grow next, there is still time to download the free abridged version of my book. I've picked out the very best projects and notes from the full version, and at over 100 pages still, there's lots in there to keep you busy and amused. Just follow the QR code or link over there to get started. I'll catch you next time.